All right, superlatives time. Chris, what do you have coming out of the conference championship round?
Well, I'm going to go with the Dick Vermeil Award, all right? And that's because it's Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid ends up being, this is the second longest gap in between Super Bowl appearances for a head coach, other than Dick Vermeil, who, of course, had the longest one when he went to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, 19 years later, does it with the St. Louis Rams at the time. I mean, this is special. I mean, come on. Andy Reid, by far the greatest coach ever to not win a Super Bowl.
Bud Grant would take issue with that.
Okay, you're right. You're right. He's in that conversation as well. He's by far the greatest coach of this era, I should say, to have not won a Super Bowl. And to now get to his second one with the second organization. And ever since he switched from green to red, this team in the red has been winning and relevant. And he's done that. And then had the genius, of course, to evaluate a guy like Patrick Mahomes, make the move to go get him. And that has changed their organization from being a playoff contender to now, we're in the Super Bowl conversation every year. And kudos to Andy Reid. Really, really happy for him.
And the genius came from the reality that he knew he had to get to number 10 to get Patrick Mahomes, because he recognized that what he saw in Mahomes, a guy named Sean Payton saw in Mahomes. And Payton, I firmly believe, was ready to take Mahomes if he had been there at number 11 back in 2017. Also, Marv Levy, a pretty good coach to have never won a Super Bowl. He took the Bills there 4 straight times, didn't get it done. But the fact that they were able to go back again, and again, incredible work by Marv Levy. And Andy Reid is going to be a sentimental favorite this time around. That's going to be one of the factors that plays in the Chiefs' favor as casual fans decide who they want to win. He's paid his dues. He's been through a lot personally. 20 years he's given to the sport as a head coach, years beyond that as an assistant. And, it feels like he deserves it, right?
Yeah.
He's earned it to get to this point, and it's time for him to get that icing on top of the cake. But, the 49ers are going to have something to say about it, Chris. And Kyle Shanahan, in his first crack at a Super Bowl, may realize, just like Dan Marino did 34 years ago against the 49ers, just because you got there doesn't mean you're ever getting back.
No.
So you better go try to win it while you're there. All right, my first superlative is going to be the Bob Greasy Award. I had to remember the guy's name. Bob Greasy, Hall of Fame quarterback. It goes to Jimmy Garoppolo. Consider this. The 2 Super Bowls that Bob Greasy won, he threw 11 passes in the first one and 7 passes in the second one.
Wow.
Yes, when the Dolphins beat my Minnesota Vikings, as you would say, Chris, in Super Bowl VIII, the first Super Bowl I ever watched wire to wire, Bob Greasy only had to throw the ball 7 times, completing 6 because Larry Zonka ran over everyone. Same thing played out yesterday. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have to do anything because Raheem Mostert ran over everyone over and over and over again. So it was 6 completions, 8 attempts, 77 yards for Jimmy Garoppolo. Those aren't highlights we're showing, folks. Those are every pass completed by Jimmy Garoppolo in the entire game.
Well, it's remarkable. And again, it just shows that, hey, you don't it doesn't always have to be about the quarterback. Oh, we got to have the franchise quarterback. And if we don't have him, there's no way we can win the game. No, there's other ways to win a game. And you've seen that. The 49ers are the perfect example. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is not one of the 5, not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the sport right now. He's not. But he's good, and he has a great team around him. And it just shows you can win a Super Bowl that way. It doesn't always have to have Tom Brady or Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers to go to the Super Bowl. You can do it other ways, and it's just phenomenal the way they did it. He made a few throws on the first drive of the game, right, Mike? Got them some momentum, and then it was like Shanahan was like, wait, we can run on them and will. Let's just keep doing it. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I give him a lot of credit there. My next...
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Because here's something I'm wrestling with, and we're going to talk about it more later in the week. But, if I'm a 49ers fan, I'm going to ask at some point, why are we paying this guy $27.5 million a year if we're not going to use him?
Right.
Does his presence, does the threat of the fact that we could use him if we need to, does that justify paying him that money? I mean, could you put Nick Mullins or C.J. Beathard out there and have the same result with this rushing attack? Or do you need a quarterback who at least keeps you from putting 11 guys at the line of scrimmage in order to allow the running game to go.
Well, again, this is not apples to apples, but Jimmy Garoppolo certainly showed he's more important than a C.J. Beathard or a Nick Mullen. They couldn't win with those guys. And, they had a lot of games that were winnable with both of those quarterbacks where they couldn't make the big throw in the third or fourth quarter to get them over the hump or get the next first down to keep a drive going.
But they wouldn't have had to make one yesterday.
No,
they didn't have to do anything. They could have put any of those guys in yesterday and won.
The point is he did it a number of times during the regular season to get them to this point yesterday where that happened. I think that's where you got to look at it. And he answered the questions. I mean, yeah, he's not Deshaun Watson or Mahomes or Rodgers. He's not one of those guys. He's not. But he's still smart. He still doesn't bat an eye in clutch situations. He proved that to us this year. Is he perfect? Do we want to sit here and go, oh, if they need him to carry the squad, he'll do it? No, I don't think he can do that. You're right. But they don't ask him to do that. And he does give their team some sort of lift. You can certainly tell he's loved by the team. That's one thing right? He walks into the stadium with Joe Staley and McGlinchey every week when they have home games. I mean, your tight end doesn't wear a T-shirt, with you dressed in spandex showing your chest if he doesn't really love you and have respect and you have that great relationship to know you can do that and embarrass him, on the podium on a post game after the NFC Championship game. So I think that shows you a lot to maybe the person and the leadership he has in the locker room, and then the guys rally around him a little bit.
All right, what's your next one?
Like Father, Like Son. You ever see that movie? Like Father, Like Son? I can't remember if Like Father, Like Son was the one with Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron, or it was the one with Fred Savage and I can't remember the father's name. I always get vice versa and Like Father, Like Son confused. But Like Father, Like Son goes to Kyle Shanahan. I mean, come on. The father was famous for his running attack and the Shanahan being a brilliant offensive schemer to expose any defensive scheme. And Kyle Shanahan, like father, like son, he is that. And like father, like son, he's going to the Super Bowl too. And oddly enough, going to the Super Bowl in Miami, where his dad won his last Super Bowl with the Broncos beating the Atlanta Falcons. Now Kyle Shanahan gets to go back to that same place, as a grown man and a head coach himself, and brings the 49ers there. Just an amazing story. The Shanahans have reached football royalty with this now. I know there's the Mannings, but then, you got to look at the Shanahan family as kind of being one of those families up towards the top of that conversation as well with the Longs and whoever else.
Well, and especially from a coaching perspective, right? You get a Super Bowl win for father and son, unprecedented. And look, when Patrick Mahomes was taking the league by storm in 2018, one of the explanations for his comfort, his ease of transition to the NFL stage was that he'd been around it his whole life because his dad played Major League Baseball and he wasn't freaked out by the moment, the magnitude, the pressure. He'd seen it all. And I think Kyle hanging around when he was a kid,
no
right?
doubt.
25 years ago when he'd have been 15 years old when the 49ers won the Super Bowl and Mike was the offensive coordinator. And then a few years after that, a couple of back-to-back Super Bowl wins for the Denver Broncos, and Kyle's around that. I think that that's the thing that's impressing me about Kyle is he knows he has a great team. They've put together a special team that can run the systems he wants,
right? And
he just trusts them to go do it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
The hard work's already been done on game day. Let's just go do what we're supposed to do. We found the guys who can do it. We trust you to do it, and we're going to go do it, and I'm not going to get in the way of it.
That's where, that's where any NFL team should work to have what Shanahan and Lynch have. This is what happens when you have a GM, a front office on the same page as the head coach. You get exactly what you're explaining. Yeah, you get talent, but talent that fits within the scheme. And then when you have a scheme that knows how to utilize that talent and it all comes together, you have Super Bowl appearances, and that's what you have. And you're right. He's been molding himself for this for a long, long time. Go back and watch the NFL films, Packers versus Broncos Super Bowl. He's sitting there holding the wires for his dad behind him. So you're right. He's always been around it. He was always getting ready for this moment. He's handled it with, what do I want to say, flying stars? Is that what the hell that phrase is? No, maybe
flying colors.
Flying colors. That's right. Colors, stars. It's all happy. That's what I'm talking about. And he's been amazing.
All right, one more for me, real quick.
Yeah.
It's the Eduardo Carocchio Award. Do you know who Eduardo Carocchio is?
No, I do not.
He is the bullfighter that Elaine Bennis made up to try to impress somebody once upon a time as her
right.
boyfriend, Eduardo Carocchio. Matador. That's Patrick Mahomes at the goal line because he was the Matador and a couple of Titans defensive backs were the Bulls. Look, as you would say, I've checked the rule book. You're allowed to tackle the quarterback. It was amazing to me that as Patrick Mahomes at the tail end of that 27-yard touchdown run, a phenomenal effort by him, the head fake that sprung him, the ability to keep his feet in bounds. But then when he gets inside the 5, and he is fair game.
Yeah.
He is a running back. He is no different than Damian Williams, Derrick Henry, any other running back on the field that day. Watch the two defensive backs. I don't know what 37's doing.
It's like
Tremaine Brock was trying to pull the ball out.
Yeah, right.
But Tremaine, I don't know who 37 is off the top of my head. Watch 37 near the goal line. You tell me what the hell this guy is trying to do, Chris. Watch it right here. What is that?
I don't know what that is. You're right. I mean, it's like he just threw his shoulder out there thinking he might hit him hard enough to jar the ball loose. I don't know what he was doing there either. But, yeah, it was poor tackling there. I mean, again, make a tackle. See if Kansas City can score once they get inside the 5-yard line. That was a huge moment and just a great play by a great player.
We give Patrick Mahomes a red cape to go along with that red jersey because he was able to keep the Bulls at bay on that run. And that was just one of those moments where it made it 21-17, Chiefs lead at halftime, and you just felt at that point that the Chiefs were going to punch their ticket to Super Bowl 54.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.